Hello and welcome to this quick tutorial on Glean. Glean is a piece of software that is designed to let you take notes during class while recording the audio. The idea is that you can record the audio and take little short notes during class and then come back later on, expand on those notes with the backup of that audio. If you find it difficult to both listen to a teacher and take notes at the same time, Glean is designed to try and help with that. This is the main screen of Glean. I use Glean in dark mode. You can switch between the modes here at the top right. There's a button here. When you click it, it swaps between light and dark mode. For this demonstration, I'm going to just leave it in dark mode. On the main home screen of Glean, you can see a list of all your past sessions. They just show up here. If you click to add to a collection, you get the option to add it to a folder. A collection is a folder of past lessons. You may want to have a separate folder for each of your modules or classes, or separated by topic, whatever makes the most sense to you. Also on the main screen, you can delete past sessions. Here on the right hand side, if I click these three dots, I have another option to add to collection here as well, or I can delete an event. Glean calls all recordings, calls them events. That's the main screen. If we move over here to the left, and if I click on collections, this shows each collection that I've created. I've just created a couple as demonstrations. It shows you the collection name. I have example ones here with just example module codes. And it also gives the number of events that are stored in that collection. If I click on a collection like this EX4567, I'm just going to click on that. You can see we have one of our events saved there. Next, over here on the left hand side, we've got tasks. I'm just going to click on that. This is a list, this is a sort of to-do list of tasks. You can create tasks either directly here, or you can create them in each events, but we'll see that in a minute when we actually start to record. Now we'll start by looking at how we actually record an event. I am going to go here and click on Home, and then I'll click on New Event. Here we have an option to upload our slides. I'm not going to do that for our first demonstration. I will show that later on. Here at the top left hand side, I am going to click to give it a title. I'm going to call it Sample Event for Recording. Then if I click on this red record button, this displays my options for recording. First is an in-person recording. I can click, and this records just using the microphone on my laptop, on my computer, if I have a USB microphone plugged in. If you were using this on an iPad or your phone as well, this would be using that microphone. If I was in a Zoom lecture or Teams, I could record the screen audio. That just records the audio coming through your computer. You could even use this if you were watching a YouTube video of a webinar or something on Panopto or on Solus, anything like that. You can record the screen audio and take notes while you're doing it. And the bottom option here, screen audio and mic, that records both. It records both your screen audio and your microphone. This is great for webinars where you can also give feedback during those. You may want to use both of these, so you record both yourself and the audio from your computer. For this demonstration, I am going to click on microphone because that's what I want to record. And immediately it starts to record. Here on the right hand side, you can see a waveform of what's being recorded. If you find this distracting, you can get rid of it. Here at the top right, there's this button here for your workspace, and you have options here to hide the audio when recording. I'll click on that and it disappears and clears up the screen for you, depending on what you find preferable. For this demonstration, I am going to leave the recording on, just so we have something to look at. On this left, at the bottom left then, is where you actually start to take your notes. If I click here and I start to take a note, I'll just say a sample note. I just type it in the box here at the bottom, hit enter, and it pops it right in there to my notes. The note has a timestamp, so it's associated with that point in the audio when you're reviewing it. Another note here, I'll just press enter. And that's the basic form. The idea here again is you take simple notes as you're going through, and then when you come to review, you can look back and actually play the audio. You can categorize these notes using these buttons here. If I click heading and then I type my heading, I'll call this new topic and hit enter. It pops it in as a heading. You can easily see that heading as you're going through. It stands out from all the rest of the notes. There's just another note under that to demonstrate that. Our next category is important. That just adds a flag to it. This is an important note. And it just helps you differentiate when you come to do your revision. Next is review. This again is just another symbol for your notes. If you have something for an assignment or something here, you may want to make sure that you review it when you're doing your study. If I call this something to review, just an easy way of helping you break down your notes. Those are the main categories, and then we have a couple of other ones here. You can import an image into it by clicking this button. Any image stored on your computer, or if you have screenshots on your phone. If you're in a lecture using your phone, you might take a picture of the whiteboard if the lecturer shows a diagram or something, and then you can quickly add it in. All of these options are also available on the mobile versions. Our next option is to add a definition. This is an option that lets you add a definition from Wikipedia into your notes as a kind of a starting point for your study. Obviously, you wouldn't use Wikipedia for any serious research. As an idea starter, you may want to consider it. For example, I will just add in the definition for communication here. It searches Wikipedia and pops in our definition for that. And our last option is to add a task. This is what I mentioned earlier. You can create a little to-do list for yourself in Glean. You can give it a title, and then you can add a due date. I'll just give it a due date of that, and then if I click to add it in, it just adds it in as another note. And that's the very basics of taking notes. There is one final way of doing this, and that is called lightning mode. If I click on lightning mode, it simplifies our interface down, and you now just have these headings are these options here at the bottom. They each have a number beside them, and the idea here is that you only have to press one key to add something to your notes, and you're not taking detailed notes at all at this point. You are just popping in things that you will come back to later. For example, I want to separate out this into a new topic. I press 1, that adds in a heading. I can come back and edit it later when I'm reviewing. The lecturer is talking about something important now. I'm going to hit 2, it marks it as important, and so on and so on. Across the top, across the bottom here, you have all your options. And that's the basics of a simple recording. I'm now going to stop this recording by clicking the stop button here. And now we'll take a look at how you can actually listen back to your notes. And here's the easiest way to do it is you can click at any point in the waveform. Like if I click here, and then I can just click on play. You find preferable. For that, it plays it back. You can change the speed that you're listening to here at this button. If I increase it up to 2 times the speed and then press play. For this demonstration, I'm going to leave the recording on, just so we have something to look at. And that increases that. I'm going to set it back to 1 for now. That's the easiest way of doing it. You can also look down at your notes here on the left, and each one has a play option. I have here this something to review note. I can, if I can't remember what that is when I'm coming to expand on it, I can just click on play. It helps you differentiate when you come to do your revision. I can directly hear that note and edit as necessary. If I click on here, you can see I'm editing now. I can just edit that, and it edits the note out for me. I can also, when I hit enter like that, I can add in more notes here, just another bullet point, like that. And I can keep adding as much as I want, and it'll pop in there. The final thing I want to show is I want to show how you can add your slides. For that, I am going to create a new event. I will exit this one by pressing the back arrow here. And then I'm going to create a new event. I'm going to call this one a sample with slides, just for my own benefit. And then on the left hand side here, I'm going to click on import slides. That brings up a window which lets you choose the file. I am going to navigate to the file that I want, which is this presentation here, a sample presentation I did earlier in this semester. If I double click, it imports into the slides. From here, recording is the same as before. If I click on our recording button here, I have the same options, and then I'm just going to choose microphone again. It starts our recording. We're back into our same method again. I can add notes. Like that. I can add a heading. That I can now add all the same things again. The difference is I now have a new option that when the lecturer moves on to a new slide in the presentation, I can just click this button, post next slide. It advances the slide here on the left, and it automatically inserts a heading for me in my notes with the heading from the slide. It strips it from the slide and puts it in here just to make things a little easier for you when you come to review. And that's the final thing to show in this demonstration. I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to exit back to our main menu. And those are the very basics of Glean. With Glean, you can hopefully find a better way of taking notes, especially if you find it difficult to both write down notes and listen and understand what a lecturer is saying at the same time. With Glean, you can take very basic notes and then expand on them later with the reassurance that you have the audio to rely on.